Welcome, everyone. Mike Corey alongside Dr. John Giannini here in a sold-out Siegel Center. This should be a lot of fun here as VCU tries to win their 7th game in a row and continue to build that NCAA tournament resume. On the other side for Dayton, John, they're trying to get to that top 4 of the A-10 where you get a double bye come conference tournament time. What else about this matchup here between these two?
Well, you said it. It's a big game this year. It's a big game every year. This has become the best rivalry in the A-10. The two most successful programs over the last decade and a half. Tradition-rich team programs as well, and this environment has everyone hyped.
And this is the first of 2 meetings between these two, and we'll have the rematch for you on Friday night, March 6th at Dayton as well. You see what these teams have done, the NCAA tournament, the postseason appearances, the A-10 titles. We're ready for action here tonight. And Anthony Grant, the head coach of Dayton, very familiar, of course, with these parts. 3 years as the head coach at VCU, back from 06 to 09, where they went to 2 NCAA tournaments and 1 NIT. And on the other side for VCU, the outstanding transition here in Richmond for Phil Martelli Jr. after 2 years at Bryant. He's already won 60 games in 2.5 years in his young head coaching career.
And Mike, I couldn't be more excited because both teams have great athletes. They both want to run. They both want to press. They both want to attack each other's press. This should be completely action-filled.
Our officials tonight, Joe Lindsay with Earl Walton and Rhett Crawford here from Richmond, Virginia. Dayton with the road blues here tonight, John, at VCU in the home whites.
Yeah, I've never seen them in the powder blues away from home. Certainly a different look. I know it. They wear them for big games. That's like telling your team, this is a big one.
And that goes without saying. VCU with the first offensive possession of tonight's game. And already an offensive foul. Let's get to the Dayton starting 5 here tonight. We'll get back to that in a moment. The foul was on Nick Lewis for VCU. And the Flyers now on the offensive end. There's Jacob Connor. Back to Amiel Latong, and he scores it. Here's your starting 5 for VCU from Richmond. Now let's do the Dayton starting 5 first here for the Flyers.
What's up, guys? My name is Jordan Durkheim from Colonia, New Jersey. At the 1, we're going to start Dayton's own Jacob Connor. At the 2, Javon Bennett. At the 4, we're going to start Keontae Jones from Madison, Wisconsin. And at the 5, the big man in the paint, Amiel Frenchie Latong.
Jadrian Tracey knocks down a 3 for VCU, and they go in front here 1 minute into the game tonight.
And here comes the pressure immediately. Both teams will be nose to nose. Both teams want to attack, pressure, and run, as I said. Latong got an easy basket down inside at first. That's a huge thing for Dayton.
Jones on his way to the hole, and he scores it for the Flyers.
So VCU's defensive weakness has been protecting the rim.
Lewis out to the wing here for Barry Evans. Corner 3 on the way by Djokovic, and it's long. Offensive rebound, and a foul is called as Lewis got it inside. He's going to head to the line. Keontae Jones with a foul for Dayton.
So both teams being played out early. One of Dayton's weaknesses, they're not a very good defensive rebounding team. Nick Lewis, one of the best rebounding guards in the A-10, taking advantage right away. And the first 2 baskets for Dayton are layups at the rim. VCU's been very good defending the 3, not good defending the rim. Both teams' weakness is showing early, their opponents exploiting it.
Rebound Latong. Here's your VCU starting 5 tonight.
What's up, guys? It's Bam, number 2 from Fort Myers, Florida. Number 1, Nick Lewis from Washington, D.C. Got Barry Evans, number 5 from Baltimore, Maryland. Hometown kid from here. Number 0, B. Jennings. And number 17, Lazar Djokovic from Serbia.
Evans on the drive for VCU, and he scores it. That's what they want to do, John, get it down in transition.
Both teams want to run. This VCU team, the first since 75-76. Yeah, back when Jaws and Rockies were movies. It's been that long since VCU has scored this many points. They definitely want to be the running Rams.
83.3 a game on average that VCU averages, and they're leading here by 1 early, 5-4. 2 minutes gone by first half. Durkak. Strong move, it doesn't go. He follows it up, has the offensive rebound. His putback is blocked inside by Djokovic, and now there's going to be a foul. And you can see the effort that Durkak gives you and how much Dayton has missed him when he hasn't been in the lineup.
And one of the biggest reasons they've missed him is his ability to get to the free throw line. It's historically good. It's not good, it's great. His free throw rate is the highest in college basketball. That means when he takes a shot, he usually gets fouled, ends up with 2 free throws. He takes way more free throws than he does field goals. He brings a physicality, a football-type mentality that not only leads to efficient free throws, even though he missed that, it inspires his team. And if he makes this free throw, it allows Dayton to set up their press.
All right, how about this edition now? Number 6, Terrence Hill Jr. checking in. He is the leading scorer for VCU at 14.5 a game. He comes off the bench.
And he's the leading scorer in the country off the bench. Very comfortable in that role. And that's why VCU is among the national leaders, 6th in the country in bench points for a game. Over 37 points come from the bench.
Inside Evans, and we've got a foul. Evans is called for it.
So not a lot of trapping, but they want to pressure, especially the 6'10 Durkak. Now look at that screen by Latong, 70 feet from the basket, but they want to ease the pressure.
Latong, he got blocked inside. He's looking for the foul there as Djokovic once again all 3 shots in the interior. And it's over to Brandon Jennings. The floater and runner is no good. And rebounded by Latong. Intercepted by Jennings. And he got it to his teammate Tracey.
Yeah, Latong just rushed that outlet. Now here comes the pressure. And why is Connor at 6'10 playing the point? Because they want to keep Bennett off the ball, use him as a scorer more. Talk about the athletes in this game. Djokovic is 6'11 and also has a 41-inch vertical, blocking the 7'1 Latong at the rim. You talk length, athletes, they're all in this game. A high-level matchup. And then just rushing things a little bit. Again, you'll see Latong, you'll see Connor pretty much playing the point at 6'10 for Dayton, because right there, they want to bring Bennett off screens, but VCU knows what they're going to do.
It's a run out for Jennings on the steal for 2.
Jennings, a 45-inch vertical. That would have been the best in the NBA Combine last year. An elite defender and athlete.
VCU is 4 of 6 in the field to get things started. Dayton started 2 for 2. They're 0 for their last 4 from the field. They trail it by 4. Latong gets the step, kicks it, corner. Bennett gets it back over to Keontae Jones, who misses the free.
Dayton sending at least 3 players back in transition. They're not that worried about getting offensive rebounds. Even though they were unsuccessful, the first possession stopping fast break from VCU, that's their defensive emphasis.
It's inside to Djokovic, trying to throw it down, and he got fouled. And he's going to head to the line for 2 when we return. Good to be with you here tonight from Richmond, Virginia, the Siegel Center for week 4 of the Atlantic 10 Friday Night Showcase. 8 straight weeks here. Here's what we have had in the first 4.5 minutes. Dayton is 0 for the last 5 from the field, and VCU off and running like they do here, John.
Well, if Dayton's not getting stops or steals, that is not when they're at their best. And my concern for them in this game is Deshaun Montgomery is not here today for Dayton. He's back at the hotel with an illness. He is the most disruptive defender. He's a spectacular athlete. He's really the one who spearheads the defense. Plus, he gives you 15 points a game. I think Dayton can make up that scoring. I don't know if they can make up his defensive presence.
John, it's a great point. He has started and played in all 23 games for the Flyers prior to tonight. That is a big loss, and those 15 points are going to be missed for Dayton here tonight.
But as I said, I think the defense is going to be more so, Mike. I think they got guys who could score on this team, but I don't know if they have another, freakish athlete with instincts like Montgomery who just sets the tone defensively. They're going to try now. They're picking up full court, but it hasn't bothered VCU yet.
We've already had 3 offensive fouls in this game tonight. That's the 3rd team foul on Dayton. It's on Simon, as you see, setting the illegal screen. So Simon's got 1, Durkak has 1, Jones has a foul. Here's Jennings on his way to the hole. No, the tip is not there, and it's rebounded by Simon.
Dayton was in his zone. It's an unusual zone, 1-1-3, and VCU has struggled lately against zones.
Flyers are without a field goal for the last 3.5 minutes. Let's see if they can change that. Connor. Or the Bryce Hurd is in for the first time tonight. Hurd to the hole. That's not there. Rebound, Djokovic.
Dayton retreating pretty soon. No one on the glass. They want to stop this VCU break.
Up top here for Jennings. It's a deep 3 from Hill. And rebounded by Sean Poide. And right to the hole, and no whistle as Jones cannot convert. Rams back running. Michael Bell now takes it inside. That's too strong. Simon another rebound.
The coaches don't mind that up and down. That's how these teams want to play. Both these teams are much better in transition than in the half court. Not bad in the half court, but exceptional when they're running.
Poide for 3, and that stops a streak of 7 misses in a row for the Flyers. And they finally get back on the board. They're down by 3.
Poide could be just what the doctor ordered for the Flyers. He's a mid-year transfer, former pro player from Belgium, brings you some experience, and with the illness to Montgomery, they could use another player.
Yeah, Poide is just his 9th game of the season, playing 52 total minutes before here tonight. They're getting minutes early. Djokovic inside, finding his teammate for the 2, and that is Tracey. Nice assist from Djokovic there. And Tracey already with 7 points in this first half for VCU. Here's Hurd. Double clutch runner, no. And Djokovic the rebound. Hill. Nice little stop on a dime, and the shot is good.
Last week, I mentioned other coaches in the A-10 called him an offensive magician, an offensive engine. I call him an offensive dream. He's efficient, explosive, smart, unselfish. He checks every box offensively, and he's never going too fast. He makes good decisions because he's under control.
Yeah, he's had a great year. Here's Jones inside on the hook, and the runner is good for 2.
And that's been VCU's weakness. Although I like Djokovic has contested shots, made people miss until that attempt by Jones. Now here's this 1-1-3. Guard has the ball. The other guard takes the high post. The wings stay high. Only the corner's open, but then they're trapped.
Well, they get right on him, as you said, Jennings, and then the pass out to the top, Tracey. Under 10 to shoot. Here's Hill. Corner 3. Djokovic fakes on it, lost the handle, and somehow got into the hands of Tracey, and he's fouled. And there was only 3 on the shot clock, and he got bailed out there.
So we're looking at 2 of the most prolific free throw shooting teams in the country because they're athletic and they attack the rim. They both get fouled at extremely high rates, and that has a big impact on their offense. So these are national averages. The average 2-point shot is worth a little over a point per shot. Same thing for a 3-point shot. Free throws are much higher. The national average is around 70% from the line, so you take 2 free throws. On average, you should get 1.4 points out of every trip to the free throw line. For these teams, it's actually more like 1.5 points per trip to the free throw line because they're a really good free throw shooting team. So going to the line is better than getting a field goal attempt.
It makes a lot of sense, right? Because the average is of around 50% shooting from the field. There's where you get the 1 point, right? But at the free throw line, if you go 70% of the line, there's your 1.4 points per trip.
And it's one of the things that make these teams, you know, really formidable and hard to beat because they're getting efficient trips by going to the line as well as getting you in foul trouble and setting up their press. We'll talk about that as the game goes on too.
Now, how about part two to that note there, John, as you look at it, the importance of what it means with these teams here tonight?
Well, as we see, it's more efficient than taking a shot from the field. You get the other team in foul trouble, but then you can also set up your defense. And Dayton in particular, when they shoot, is elite. They have one of the best defenses in the country after made free throws, setting up their press. Now, again, today they don't have their most fearsome defender in Deshane Montgomery, but we'll see if they can be effective pressing like they normally do without him, especially after made free throws.
Substitutions here for both teams. You saw Tyrell Ward checking in, number 15 in white for the Rams for the first time tonight. Flyers ball down 7. We'll have a timeout coming at the next stoppage here, the under 12 minutes in this first half. Ball inside to Simon. One-on-one against Evans. Good up fake. Count it, and a foul. And Jayon Simon will have a chance for the three-point play when we return. 17-12 here, back in Richmond. VCU leads by 5. Mike Corey, Dr. John Giannini, and how about this with the Rams leading the A-10 points in the paint?
That's not a stat you want. You want to lead and maybe scoring in the paint, but not giving up points in the paint. And without Deshane Montgomery, the Flyers lose a good outside shooter, so they've been posting up a lot. That's an old school and one play there for Simon. And in this 6-game winning streak, the one thing Dayton that VCU can do better is keep that ball away from the rim, contest shots at the rim better. And now their zone offense is going to be tested again by this unusual 1-1-3. It's not a 1-3-1. The guards will rotate. One guard takes the high post, the other the ball, and then trap the corners. It's hard because only the corners are really open.
This is Ahmad Noel for 3. It's no good, and Dayton has the rebound. Here's Javon Bennett. He's only taken 1 shot so far here tonight, and his second one is good for 2.
So much pressure on Bennett. He plays almost 37 minutes a game. He's the heart and soul of this team. He's their leading assist creator, leading scorer. He's their primary ball handler. They're trying to ease the burden on him.
There's Ward, dumps it inside, Michael Bell.
So I mentioned the corners open against that zone. Get the ball to the corner, then while the trap is coming to you, before the trap gets to you, pass out of it. Now you got the numbers advantage, well prepared by VCU.
This is Thomas. Malcolm Thomas is in, gets at the Durkat, up top for Latong. Out there along with Bennett and Bryce Hurd, the 5 on the floor for the Flyers. Shot clock. Down to 5. It's taken away. Stolen by Tyrell Ward, who goes coast to coast and is fouled. And they're going to call a jump, actually. It's a jump ball as Javon Bennett came back, tied him up, fell down into the stanchion. And on the arrow, it's going to be Dayton possession. How about that?
So why does Coach Grant not take Javon Bennett out? Because of plays like this. This is a winning play. That is strength. That's toughness. Taking the hit against the stanchion. And on top of it, you're leading scorer, you're leading assist guy, your best decision maker, the guy who gets you into your offense. They ask a lot of Bennett.
Yeah, that's a great call there as Latong knocks down a 3 in the corner.
7-1 guy who can shoot it. He's going to be able to get it off with his length. And I like Dayton staying with this zone because I believe VCU is much more comfortable against men.
Noel for 3. That's no good. Bell is there to try to clean it up, and he is fouled. And so Michael Bell will get to the line here for 2 for VCU. It's a 1-point game. Latong on that previous three, John, cutting the game down to a 1-point margin. Latong had 16 points in the last game for the Flyers, who snuck by St. Bonaventure 72-7.
But here's the really good things for Dayton. Latong missed 4 games due to injury. Well, we talked about it. You don't come back from injury and be 100%. Think of any of us non-elite athletes. If we're sick or hurt and we go to the gym after missing 2-3 weeks, we're not going to set any personal best. So it took Latong a while to get back into the flow of things. The game against St. Bonaventure with 16 points, it was his best game since December 20th against Liberty. Same for Durkak. They missed Durkak badly. Durkak made the winning free throws against St. Bonaventure. He was out for 4 games. So Durkak, Latong getting back to where they were. That bodes really well for Dayton. Of course, they wish they had Deshane Montgomery. It's been one thing after another for the Flyers.
Oh, it's an excellent point, John. Durkak had 18 points in the last game, as you said, to help win it for Dayton. Inside, and it is Durkak now. Lost a handle, recovered somehow by Thomas, and he got blocked inside Bell. Bodies on the floor. They're both down. It's a 4-on-4, and it's Djokovic who throws it down. Play a game like this? Wow.
I mentioned phenomenal athletes, up-tempo game. This is a blast.
Bennett misses the 3, and there's a foul and a rebound, and it's going to be on the Flyers.
6'11" with a 41-inch vertical. Are you kidding me? And you see how that plays out on the basketball court. Being able to go full speed, go over people, play above the rim. Djokovic having an all-conference type of year. Number 11 in scoring in the league, top 10 in rebounding, top 10 in field goal percentage. And he's taken a big step up over here, even over colleges, Charleston and Xavier. He's thriving in this VCU culture and program. Now
yes, he is.
Now this is a 1-3-1 right here, mixing it up.
Ward's got it. Looking underneath for the cutter, Jennings. Out to the corner, it's Tracey for 3. It's no good. Another offensive rebound, Jennings got it knocked away, but VCU still has it. Ward for 3. That's no good. Funnels his own shot, has it again. And he's fouled by Cronin.
So when you play someone, you need to be aware of their strength. For example, Dayton's strength is they create turnovers, but also their weakness. They're not a very good defensive rebounding team, so you want to send people to the glass. On the other end, Dayton knows that VCU defends the 3 well, but they're not great at the rim, so they're getting the ball inside. Both teams right now very much exploiting what the other is not best at.
Now, Anthony Grant was hot on that last sequence there, and the Flyers, who have been struggling with 4 losses in a row, John. I mean, we don't see that or hear that often from a Dayton team. I mean, we're talking way back, right, history-wise with them, and then they get out of it with a 2-point win at home last game out.
But once again, Durkak and Latong were either out or not 100% during that stretch. So it wasn't a normal Flyer team. More healthy today outside of Deshane Montgomery.
Now it's Connor for 3. That's good. And how about Jacob Connor's play? It's his 5th start of the season tonight. They need him with all these injuries.
The real important thing there is they attack VCU's pressure. Set a screen in the backcourt. Don't mess around. Don't be passive. Score against the pressure.
This is Nick Lewis, works his way in. Out to the corner for Jennings, behind the back to Lewis. But heavily guarded here with 7 on the shot clock. Jennings fights through traffic, feeds Ward, it's a 3, it's good, with 2 on the shot clock.
And here's the 6'10" Connor taking pressure off of Bennett so he doesn't have to do literally everything for the Flyer offense.
VCU is 2 of 8 from 3-point range and out of bounds on the sideline. The Flyers turn it over, and it takes us to another timeout. They've done it since Phil Martelli Jr. is back at Bryant over the last 2 years as head coach.
And he played faster at Bryant. So seriously, Coach Martelli's just warming up. You're going to see a lot of points scored at VCU over the years under his tutelage.
When you said that note earlier, and we said it last week as we were here last week as well, as Ward scores it, it's mind-boggling to to say this is the most points they've scored on average per game in almost 50 years.
75, 76. I was in 8th grade, and like I said, I was going to see Jaws and Rocky at the movies.
Good defense again in the interior as Connor went in for Dayton. It is a 30-21 lead right now for the Rams. There's that note. 83.3 a game, most in 50 years.
And listen, and that's counting a lot of NCAA tournament teams, including Shaka Smart's Final Four team that was pressing and running. So this system is flourishing.
Djokovic got it taken away by Javon Bennett. Up to the top, Durkak fakes the three, back to Bennett. Oh, and he thought about it. Was that a travel? Yes, it is.
So the funny thing about Durkak, he almost never makes threes, but their own Dayton coaches marvel that everyone goes for a shot fake. Even though, like, the guy is not a great shooter, but everyone goes for his shot fakes. That time it resulted in a potential assist, but it's one of the reasons he gets fouled so much. People go for that shot fake.
VCU is on an 11-3 run right now. Their largest lead of the night at 9, 30-21. Jennings for three. Flying in for the tip is Ward. How about Tyrell Ward tonight?
So if you're already not a great defensive rebounding team, it's a little bit harder out of the zone because you don't have a guy right that you're matched up against to definitely box out. You have to really find people in a zone, and Ward got a free run to the rim.
Tyrell Ward off the bench with 9 points, tying his teammate Tracey for the team high. There's Durkak. Oh, good up fake, and Jordan Durkak misses it though, and here come the Rams. Jennings for Tracey for Djokovic. Another offensive rebound. Nick Lewis, and he is fouled.
So this is one of the difficulties with zone. You don't have a set man to box out. So now athletes like Ward can just run from that three-point arc. Look at it. No one's even thinking of boxing him out because they don't necessarily have a man to box out. You got to find someone. An athlete like Ward, he loves playing on that baseline and crashing.
And Tyrell Ward getting a nice hand from the Siegel Center crowd here, as he should, with 9 points. As at the free throw line is Nick Lewis. And, you know, John, I know you said Dayton wants to get back. You know, they don't want to be crashing the offensive glass and being beat in transition, but they only have 2 offensive rebounds. VCU has 6 offensive rebounds. They're turning it into points, and they're outworking the Flyers in this game.
Well, they're definitely out-rebounding them on the offensive end. Dayton's not as worried about how many offensive rebounds they get. They want to stop VCU's transition, but then they got to finish. They're making VCU miss, but they got to finish with defensive rebounds.
Well, VCU's got 6 fast break points. Flyers have none. And the second chance points, 7-1 in favor of VCU as they lead it by a dozen now with 5:38 to go in the first half.
Yeah, the defensive rebounding is the concern right now for Dayton.
How about 5 blocks already for VCU? So, see that now.
This is the best interior presence defensively I've seen Djokovic have this year. I mentioned they haven't been good inside defensively. They're better today.
Bennett relocates, fires it up. No, Djokovic on the rebound. And a foul on the Flyers. It's on Simon with his second.
And Djokovic usually goes to the line on the offensive end by driving hard, posting hard. This time he's fouled 90 feet away in a rebound situation, but he has made the most free throws in the A-10 this year. This guy's having a phenomenal year.
He's got 4 points and 4 rebounds already here in this game. Lazar Djokovic, and at the free throw line he'll get another. He's a perfect 3 for 3. We've got 2 ABC Saturday NBA games this week loaded with stars. KD and the Rockets, they're in Oklahoma City taking on SGA and the Thunder. That's at 3:30. Then the Lakers hosting the Warriors at 8:30. It all starts with NBA Countdown, 3 o'clock Eastern tomorrow on ABC. Djokovic looking for his 6th point of the night, and he has.
Expect VCU to pick up full court, but then a ball screen in the backcourt, try to free him up going down the court. But
How about the great NBA players that have come out of these two schools here? You talk about the tradition and history of Dayton and VCU.
I mean, these VCU and Dayton are national programs. They're routinely in the NCAA tournament. They win NCAA tournament games because they have NBA talent that they've recruited and developed.
Ball knocks out of the hands of Bryce Hurd, and it's the 7th turnover and then a block on the other end, but it's out to Hill as he works it in, and Terrence Hill scores it for VCU.
So, great example of the best scorer in the A-10 per minutes played. Per 40 minutes, Hill's over 25 points a game. No one else in the A-10 is that high. He's skilled, but did you see how patient and methodical he was? He never rushes. That's why he gets and makes good shots.
Starting to become danger zone here for the Flyers. It's a 12-0 run for VCU. It's an 18-3 run over the last 5 minutes. And Bennett somehow gets in there, scores it, and is fouled. And you had said it, John. He's just done a little bit of everything for this team. When they need something, he's able to go and get it. They certainly needed points on this trip.
Yeah, Bennett's the guy. He's the heart and soul of this program. We've seen him crash into the stanchion on the defensive end. Here you see him crash into the floor on the offensive end. There's nothing Bennett's not willing to do to give the Flyers a chance. And you mentioned it. They're a little on the ropes. Bennett is the guy who makes the play.
That was their first field goal they've had. They've only had one field goal in the last 5:40 of this game. And right to the hole is Hill. And no one picks him up.
Hill is the best offensive player in this league. I don't see how you argue against it. He's the best scorer per minute. He shoots unbelievable percentages. He's high in assists, low in turnovers.
It's another steal, John. It's Jennings again. Out to the wing for Tracey. Bell. Jennings again. Strong drive, he's blocked, but he got tapped out by Tracey. Back to Bell. And now it's Hill from NBA range. All right, thanks a lot, Zubin, Kevin. Right now, 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this first half, and it's been all VCU. They've opened up a 19-point lead, John. A lot of turnovers so far for the Flyers.
Turnovers are the most predictive stats as to whether Dayton's going to win or lose a game. When they're winning, they're turning the other team over 16 times a game. When they lose, it's them turning it over 16 times a game. They already have 9. That's on track for a not good outcome for the Flyers.
Yeah, absolutely, not a good trend. 17-2 run here for VCU in the last 4.5 and ticking. It's Keontae Jones on the runner, no. Latone can't get it, and rebounded by Brandon Jennings. And VCU is just trying to pour it on here in this first half. Another long three from Hill. And Ward with a tip. Latone has it. Foul called on VCU. And there's a injured player down. And that's the last thing that Dayton needs. Bennett.
We mentioned he's more than a leader. He's the heart and soul of this edition of the Flyers. And if he's physically capable, he's going to keep battling. And you see him shaking it off right there.
Ward was called for the foul on the right ankle, John. And he landed right on Tyrell Ward there for VCU. This guy's a warrior.
Flat out.
I mean, 20 points in the last game. Senior leader. Played at Merrimack. Transferred here to Dayton. He's been so strong. He's just been undermanned. There's been a lot of injuries. Not a lot of consistency. And it's tough. Durkak to the block. Jennings on him. They got knocked away again. Djokovic. They get their hands in there, and they've done it all night here tonight. It's 7 steals for the VCU Rams. And now 10 turnovers for the Flyers. 2.5 remaining first half. Bell. That's a push-off. They didn't call it. He drives it in and scores it.
Well, that's a good point. He saw you Bennett on him, who he's much bigger and stronger than, so he was going to the rim, playing with force, but it looked like he pushed off with his forearm.
6 points for Bell, 2 of 3 from the field. Durkak gets a step, and he's fouled on his way in.
And outside of that last play, VCU's been doing a good job protecting the rim, going up vertically without fouling. But we mentioned Durkak, the best in the country in terms of getting fouled.
So the free throw numbers for Durkak, as you said, and look at this.
Yeah, it's astounding. So he has a 139% free throw rate. What that means is he has 39% more free throw attempts than field goal attempts. When he goes to the basket, like he just did, he gets fouled and goes to the line far more often than he doesn't. And that ability to get fouled sets him apart and makes Dayton's offense that much more efficient.
And that's 1 of 3 players that you saw in that graphic in the last 7 years to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's a historic number. He's not good at it. He's great at it.
Think about that for a moment. Here's Ward for 3, no good, and there's Durkak skying for the rebound.
Yeah, Durkak has football toughness, and he wants contact every time he has the ball in his hands.
Off to Latong, screen over to Jones. Jones gets it into Latong. Double team coming down again, and Ward got his hand on it again. And a foul coming up the court. It's going to be on Sean Poide for Dayton. And how many times are they doing that tonight, John? You either got to make a move, you got to get it out. I mean, they have been in there all night stripping it up.
Watch, when you turn baseline like that, you lose your vision. So he didn't see Ward to the last second. Right there, he's blind, and he spins. And what you want to do is you want to attack blind ball handlers. And the tell is as they prepare to spin.
How about the stat line for Brandon Jennings here tonight? 2 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 5 steals. What else has he done here in this game? And he knocks down the free throw. And we'll remind you, coming up tomorrow, we have an incredible day of college basketball. Duke and North Carolina. No more to be said. You don't need to say anything else about that game, obviously. Tennessee and Kentucky. How about Houston and BYU, John? We're staying up late for that one, 10:30 Eastern.
BYU, an explosive offense. Houston, the best defensive team in the country, so something's got to give over there. Kelvin Sampson, 42-5 since Houston's joined the Big 12. That is stunning. In my opinion, that's the best regular season coaching job we've seen recently.
It's outstanding. Pointe for 3. It's no good. Ward on the rebound for VCU. Quickly on the outlet. Here they come. Tracey. Tracey stripped by Bennett. And now Bennett tries to go coast to coast. Too strong, tipped in. Latong.
Phenomenal play by Bennett with the strip, with the finish. Latong, anticipating the miss, does a nice job. But once again, it's a play by Bennett that tries to give the Flyers some energy.
Yeah, you called it. Latong's got 7. That leads the Flyers in scoring tonight. They're down by 18. Under 45 seconds remaining first half. Tracey for 3. That looks good, and he drains it.
VCU knows Dayton leaves the corner open so that when you get it there, they try to trap you, but they pass it out before the trap gets there, and now they got the numbers advantage.
Pointe from Latong. That's a 3. Can't get it to go. Bell the rebound, and now VCU holding for the final shot of this first half. John, up 21. Hill, yes. Couldn't have played it any better.
Hill saw the 7-1 Latong, and he said, there's no 7-1 guy who's going to stay in front of me, and gets the blow by.
Dayton had only 3 field goals in the last 10-14 of the first half, and how about taking it right to the end?
Yeah, he timed that absolutely perfectly and recognized the mismatch. And Hill, we've talked about his offensive abilities. He checks every box.
How about some of the first half notes here, right? Hill off the bench with 11 points. Outstanding first half. The bench points have been crazy. 26 to 6. And then It's the most points allowed in the first half this year for the Flyers. There's 50 here to VCU, and not that VCU needs any more help because they're up by 23, but they're 40-4 when leading at the half over the last 2 seasons.
Human nature will lead a lot of teams to let up when they have a big lead. When they think the game is won, I'm very curious what will happen here in the first 4 minutes. That's a great start for VCU.
They'll pick it up right where they left off, that's for sure. Brandon Jennings basket and a foul to start the second half.
I mean, the coaching message at halftime with the big lead is, hey, the score is 0-0 for us. We need to win this half. And Jennings, known as great defender, but really underrated offensively as well.
The foul's on Bennett. And Jennings has 6 points. Coach Martelli, to your point, John, you got to work. You got to keep working here in the second half.
It's only the first 20 seconds, but I love the way VCU has come out. Again, human nature is you let up if you think the game is already won, but the message of it's 0-0, we need to get better. We're not going to let ourselves slip. It looks like that message has reached home with the Rams.
Dayton possession, jumper on the way, no good by Hurd. Rebound here by the Rams. Once again, Evans. Djokovic on the drive. He's fouled. He scores it. Heads up.
Well, how do you make more free throws than anyone else in the A-10, which is true for Djokovic? Over 100 made free throws this year. Take the ball to the rim. You don't get fouled shooting jump shots. You get fouled doing this, playing with force, being an athlete, driving the ball hard.
Latong hooked up the foul. And that's 2 3-point plays to start the second half for VCU. Foul in the backcourt.
So look for Dayton to set a screen 60, 70, 80 feet from the basket for whoever has the ball and try to get an immediate advantage. Let's see now if Latong or Jones comes. No. A little bit later that time with the screen.
Jennings with his first personal foul. Now it's Durkak for 3, and that's no good. And a chance for the dunk on the rebound by Jones. It doesn't go. Oh, and a steal by Durkak. Nice play there. That'll go. But right back the other way come the Rams. And it's a 3-point from Tracey. And they'll say, yeah, we'll take 3 for 2 there. And it's 59-29 Rams.
You said it's so impressive how VCU got the ball down the court after a made shot within 3-4 seconds. Good teams in transition run off missed shots. The really good teams run off made shots as well.
Here's Bennett. Working baseline, the pass off the rim.
Left side of the backboard. Really curious why that was ruled out of bounds.
And it's Dayton possession, too. That's a little interesting. As Bennett goes in and he scores it.
Yeah, again, Bennett is just, you said the word warrior. He is going to fight every second he's out there every game.
So Bennett tonight, he's got 6. He's got 4 steals as well. But he can't do it all, and there's still a huge deficit here as this is Nick Lewis, and he is fouled.
Hard game to officiate VCU against Dayton because both teams drive the ball so relentlessly with high-level athletes, and there's going to be a lot of collisions.
That's the 3rd foul on Keontae Jones. John, VCU is now led by 20 or more points in 8 games this season.
Yeah, they are routinely in the NCAA tournament. They were in the tournament last year with Matt Schulder leading the way, who's now in the Boston Celtics roster. I mean, that's the standard at VCU. And it's fine to say we want to be in the NCAA tournament, but you've got to put the work in. You have to be good on both ends. And this VCU team, I'm really impressed with how they've shored up their interior defense, which I said has not been as good even in this winning streak.
Durkak Can't get it to go.
And that's a good example of it there. Durkak looking for the foul. Djokovic being disciplined and being big and simply making him miss with length.
Here's Lewis. Inside Djokovic. No. Tries to stay with it. He does. For 3 Dayton jerseys there, and he got hit in the face. And the officials are coming together here. Let's see what this call is and who it's on. A hard hit to the face, and there was a foul call. They're going to go over and look at it now to see if they're going to upgrade this to a flagrant 1. Let's get the call here first. Well, we'll get an update here for you when we return. So 17-11 to play in the second half. Djokovic got crushed underneath. And the heads collide here. Yep. They'll take a look at it, and they're looking at it right now with 17-11 to go. We're going to keep it right here. 59-31. VCU leads it by 28 points.
Yeah, it clearly won't be a flagrant foul because that was just 2 players bumping heads. Now, painful, but not an act of will at all. If there's anything incidental, it's 2 guys bumping heads.
Well, there was a foul called on Jones. That was the initial call, the 4th personal foul on Keontae Jones, the 4th team foul for the Flyers. And then they're going to say no flagrant. There's nothing to upgrade there. Just the incidental contact of both players trying to go after that ball, and they hit it.
It's a common foul on Jones because he did make contact, albeit with the head, but not deemed to be a flagrant.
Oh, they're changing the foul, and it's going to be on Latong. Yeah, so it's
interestingly, that would have been Jones's 4th, so that's very fortunate for Dayton. And I'm sure the rationale is that there was a foul that was less obvious before the head contact.
Evans to the hole, doesn't go. Latong the rebound. So there's a foul on Latong. He's got 2 up the court here now. A foul as Hurd goes in. And to your point, John, there's a lot of aggressive play. There's a lot of contact. There are a lot of fouls called, as we're seeing here. It is a tough game, to officiate. We still have almost 17 minutes remaining.
Well, it might not be aesthetic, but making these calls is obviously the right thing to do. A foul is a foul, and I think late in the game you're going to see a lot of these players just recklessly almost just throwing their bodies at the rim.
What does this mean to VCU right now? They're going to try to win their 7th game in a row if they can close this one out tonight. They're 50 in the net rankings. St. Louis having an outstanding season. We'll see them next week. They're 15 in the net. So what you're trying to do is try to increase your status in terms of the net rankings. Put yourself in a possible at-large position for the NCAA tournament if you don't win the A-10 championship.
And it's interesting, that ties in with winning by a large margin. One way to increase your net, win by more than what the analytics expect you to.
It's a great point, John. And nobody's resting starters in today's college basketball. There's a block, and they get it on Durkak. And quickly the other way, Djokovic, hands off, 3-pointer Hill, no good. Durkak the rebound. Nice touch pass inside by Jones to Latong.
Good pick-and-roll basketball when the defense helps on the guard with the big guy coming towards the guard. There's 2 on that guard. Get the ball out of your hands, get it to the big man before his defender can recover. That was well done by Dayton. 2nd personal foul on Javon Bennett for Dayton. And that is the 5th team foul in this second half already for the Flyers. We used to call this a hot read. When we know the other team hard hedges, don't even try to score. Get the ball out of your hand, get it back to the big guy before that guy hedging can recover.
And here's Barry Evans breaking the pressure all by himself out to the corner. It's a 3 by Ward. It doesn't go. It's going to be VCU possession here. And another foul. This is on Simon. It's going to be his third. And that's not good. One more for the Flyers, John, and VCU is shooting free throws, and we still have 16-11 left in the second half. Hill. Might take it in. And they do. They draw more contact, and Ward scores. Count the basket. Chance for the three-point play. 61-34.
VCU is 13th in the country out of 365 teams in free throws made per game because they have athletes who attack the rim. Now, Dayton does the same thing. Dayton actually is 12th in the country. These are two athletic driving teams, but it's clear Dayton misses Deshaun Montgomery, their best athlete, one of the best athletes in the country, and just VCU right now is outnumbering and out-athleticizing this Dayton team that they could put out with health on the court today.
4 fouls on Keontae Jones as he goes out. He's got 4 points, and you're right. The loss of Montgomery not available in this game tonight is huge for the Flyers. It's showing, obviously. Second leading scorer. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries this year. Guys in and out of the lineup, and the consistency has just not been there. And evident of this score right now. It's always awesome every time these two get together. Duke, North Carolina, heightened even more now in number 4 Duke and number 14 North Carolina, and featuring some of the best players in the nation, John.
Yeah, when you watch Duke Carolina, you're not just watching one of the best games of the season. You might be watching a game that you're going to be watching a documentary about, a game that will become historic because a guy's going on to have amazing NBA careers or a potential national championship team.
And then we were talking earlier about how awesome that Houston-BYU game is going to be as well.
Yeah, I couldn't be more impressed with Kelvin Sampson.
Bennett misses the jumper. Here come the Rams. And once again, Ward, but unable to get that one. Here comes Hurd for the Flyers. Fouled. And Hurd will get 2 shots at the line as Barry Evans is called for his third for VCU. So that was also a story, the rebounding coming in. -11 on the glass tonight, John. 30-19 VCU.
Well, Dayton is a bit understaffed without Montgomery, but you do want to get better at something you're not good at. For example, VCU's interior defense, which has not been good, giving up the most paint points in the A-10, much better today. Now, Dayton has to clean up the defensive rebounding.
Durkak is called for his second foul for the Flyers on that free throw, third foul, excuse me. And that's the 8th team foul. Free throws coming here for VCU. They just get in there a little bit too aggressive on Tracey, and it's a 1-on-1, no good. And Durkak the rebound, trying to make up for it here on his way to the hole. And no good.
Man, he played with force. I mean, he missed the shot, but I love the pace he got at, and he did get to the rim.
Tracey, Ward, and Hill tonight for VCU have scored a combo of 38 points, and the Flyers have 35 as a team. Now an offensive foul.
So there's certain players, you remember all your players as a coach, but there's some that you never forget, and there's a difference. A guy like Bennett will stay in your mind years after you coach him. You'll talk to your current team about Javon Bennett, and we had a guy who, you know, he played hurt, he led us, he got us through tough times, and, you know, he's going to be an unforgettable player for the Dayton Flyers.
Nick Lewis with a foul for VCU. We've had 30 total fouls so far in this game. Bennett, runner, got it. 8 points for him.
Yeah, but it's the energy, too. The assist, the decision-making, and leadership, and defense.
They had the trap going, but then Hill got out of it and got it to Lewis, and that's a 3. It's no good, and the rebound by Simon.
Yeah, both these teams want to push and attack pressure. That's why you see very little long possessions.
Simon, there's a foul in VCU. 2 shots coming. It's on Bell.
Yeah. That could have been all ball pretty easily. Yeah. But here's the thing where Simon deserves credit. And of course, Durkak is a master at this. When you go strong, you get some calls. A lot of times, I mean, officiating is such a hard job. And sometimes you anticipate fouls maybe as an official just because when you see a player going with that kind of force, it often ends up being a foul. But they have the toughest job on the court, in my opinion.
Dayton can't seem to catch a break and has 6 of 12 at the free throw line in this game. That's 50%, obviously. 2 of 6 here in the second half. 15 of 20 are the Rams, 75%.
Yeah, this second half could, with the way these teams attack, this could be a slog to the free throw line for the next 14 minutes.
Simon with his 4th personal foul for the Flyers. Ahmad Noel. All right, so VCU. They're having the right tonight, but we've been seeing this a lot. It's going to be their 7th consecutive win in 14-16 unless something crazy happens. Where are they at right now, in your opinion? What about this team on the coach?
Well, they're getting better. Like I said, I love the improvements in the defense here today. But they got to get into the 30s of the net. You know, they got to get up there about another 10 spots, and they need teams like South Florida and Virginia Tech, who they have beaten and are close to being quad 1 wins. They need those teams to win to improve their resume.
Latong. No. Durkak, yes. And the foul.
I will never be surprised seeing Durkak go to the free throw line. In fact, I expect it. I mentioned football-type mentality. He loves contact. Look at him pinning the defender under, going through the defender with the ball. That time there was contact on the forearm. Bell tried to be vertical, but Durkak goes through.
Can't complete the three-point play, but Latong gets the rebound. The second foul on Bell. Bennett pulls up. That's short.
Still amazing. Bennett's playing so well, so hard with all that quickness, with that ankle turn we saw in the first half.
Exactly, yeah, playing a lot. He averages close to 35 minutes a game.
In conference over 37. Second in the A10 in minutes played.
Three ball is good for Tracey.
Tracey is the vet on this team. Already started his career in the A10 at St. Joe's, playing with assistant coach, VCU coach assistant Brian Daly, and then was a starter on Oregon NCAA tournament team, so he knows what it takes.
Tracey's career high is 20. He's got 18. That is a season high now for him. Beating that mark by 1. And Phil Martelli Jr. and the VCU Rams. I mean, it's an exciting brand of ball. We talk about the scoring numbers. They're very deep, and they're showing it tonight.
Because they did two things very well. First, they retained some key guys like Bell right here. They retained Bell. They returned Jennings. They retained Hill. And then their transfer portal additions, they really, really hit on. And that's the formula in today's college basketball world. Retain your key players and make good decisions in the portal. Coach Martelli did both.
8th steal of the game for VCU. There's Noel that gets it inside for Bell. Back out, Tracey yet again.
There's that career high. Yeah, when you add high-character guys with NCAA tournament experience, good things happen.
Hill, Elliott, Djokovic. Fallon Hill. And the onslaught is on here tonight. 12:02 remaining. And VCU, yeah, all smiles, to say the least.
We're going to talk about Coach Martelli's philosophy, but one of the things he tells the guys before they go out for a game, go ball. Don't think too much. You've been taught the right stuff. You know what to do. Go play hard, play fast, ball out. And that gives players great freedom and leads to an exciting style in plays like we just saw. Go ball.
Well, we know how stellar St. Louis is this season in the Atlantic 10, right? Net of 15. They've won 16 games in a row. Can't wait to see them again next week. But boy, VCU is certainly separating themselves out of this A-10 pack to be in that conversation with a St. Louis team as the top two teams in the Atlantic 10.
Well, let's talk about the first matchup, VCU-St. Louis. VCU takes a lead with 2:20 left in that game, and St. Louis has to make a great run at the end. So VCU gave St. Louis everything they wanted last time.
It's an offensive foul on Djokovic. It's going to take us to a timeout. And it's been the Rams having their way in everything and every way they've wanted. Coach Phil Martelli Jr., he has certainly paid his dues. He's been an assistant coach at 6 different schools, 20 years, started his playing career for his father at St. Joe's, Phil Martelli Sr., and then now, after 2 years coaching at Bryant, here in his first season at VCU, and has the Rams on the verge of their 18th win of the season. John, you told me earlier you just really like his philosophy.
Well, number one, he got it from a lot of great coaches he worked with, guys like Howie Dickerman, Joe Mihalik, his dad, Phil Martelli Sr. And what he does almost the same thing every day. Some coaches want variety. He does the same thing so that his players know exactly what the system is, exactly what their fundamentals are. So come game time, he says, hey, just go ball. You don't have anything to think about. You know exactly what you're doing. If you ask any player what they would like to play for, someone who keeps it simple and tells them to play hard versus complexity, they'll always take simplicity and go play hard over having to think when they go out on the court.
He told us that. He said it starts in the summer, right? The summer and the fall. What do they work on? They work on skill development, reads, and instinct. Those are 3 things that he mentioned.
And he's not going to change a lot game to game. Regardless of what the other team's doing, if they're going to do what they do, let the other team worry about us. We're not going to worry about them as much. And that is mentally freeing to players.
Oh, nice pass from Latong to the cutting Jones on a no-look there for 2. Bell. And he goes behind the back, and Djokovic blocked. And no whistle there.
That was a nifty, to say the least, skilled pass.
Durkak, no. Frary, yes. 2 in a row for the Flyers. Here's Tracey. Bounces it. Djokovic is fouled by Latong. Back to Martelli. And he said to us, he feels like he still does a little bit too much in terms of scouting. But then, you know, John, as a former coach and now the incredible work you do here, by the way, as an analyst, I mean, you're always looking at stuff. You're always trying to gain more. But he said, when do I cut it off, right? And there is a point sometimes where you might do too much.
Yeah, he's still, and there you see his brother, associate head coach behind him, Jimmy Martelli. And yeah, that's the challenge of moving over. They say moving over that 1 seat, that 12 inches, it might just be 12 inches, but it's a whole different life. So he's still doing everything he did as an assistant, but wonders if, you know, number one, you're not delegating, helping your assistants to grow enough. You wonder if you're focusing on all the right things because there's so many things you have to do as a head coach. So just as I said, I expect this team to become more and more up-tempo throughout the years because we see what he did at Bryant. You know, he's going to grow as a head coach as well throughout the upcoming years.
And to be able to have his brother win him on the sidelines there, Jimmy Martelli, and you know, he's had a huge impact. And it's a second stint here. Was an assistant before, now the head man with VCU for his brother. He told me yesterday, it feels great, you know, to have a voice, to have an impact, to help young guys on the staff as well, too. And boy, they got a great combo right there, don't they?
So some people say, hey, hire someone you don't know. You don't want to hire people that are just, you know, you might be too close with. I love hiring people I know and I'm comfortable around. And, of course, he has great confidence and comfort with his brother, Jimmy. Because then you could be yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Durkak fouled hard.
Mike, no matter how much coaches tell their players, don't foul Durkak, it never works.
I know.
Everyone fouls this guy.
It's going to be the 8th and 9th free throw attempt of this game for Jordan Durkak. He's 5 of 7 from the stripe so far. He's got 7 rebounds, 9 points. He's working hard. There's no doubt about it. It's just that they're overmatched, obviously, here tonight.
But he's taken 10 field goals. So based on his free throw rate, he takes 13 free throws for every 10 shots he attempts. And that's the thing. When he goes up for a shot, it's almost never a shot that is going to be unfouled. He shoots way more free throws, than field goals. And that 1 of 3 is not this year. That 1 of 3, do you want players with that? That's over the last several years. He's historically good at shooting more free throws than field goals.
We're halfway through the second half. Excuse me, halfway through the second half. It's a 76-47 lead for VCU, and they want more. Oh, look at that by Tyrell Ward. Throwing down another exclamation point on this game. He's got 14, 5 of 9 from the field.
Serious athletes in this game. A little hesitation, faking a handoff, kind of like a quarterback. And while Durkak's getting ready to switch or help, he keeps it and goes. But I don't know of any quarterback that can jump like that.
Ward averages 13 minutes a game, 5.6 points. Tonight, he's got the 14 in 14 minutes.
So starting is not going to matter to Coach Martelli. He's on record. I want 10 guys who can start. I want a deep team. I want to play even faster than we're playing now. So, and I said this last week. Starting is way too glorified. You only single out those 5 guys. The cheerleaders go nuts. We show their videos. The announcers go nuts. I would announce the whole team. You know, on a team like VCU, you know, they have 10 important guys. It's not just 5 guys. And let's not make starting unnecessarily important or something to glorify, because honestly, recruits want their kids to start, recruits want to start, parents want their kids to start. It's just too important. And now you see a deep, unselfish team like VCU, like St. Louis, where the players accept that it's not important.
Well, and you said it, and it's the stats and the numbers bear out. 7 players have had double-digit minutes in this game. How about the bench points? 35 for VCU to back up your point.
Which is their average. They consistently score off the bench like this. That's why they're good.
Frary, that's a 3 for the Flyers. And Frary's had a little bit more time as of late, too, as a freshman out of Cleveland, Ohio. Four of 12 from 3 for the Flyers. 7 of 19 for VCU. Here's Hill. That's good. And Hill tonight with 13. That's closing in on his average. Again, coming off the bench, 14 and a half a game.
Leading scorer in the country off the bench.
Foul and the rebound. It's on VCU. So this VCU team tied with George Mason in the Atlantic 10 standings at 8-2. Second place behind St. Louis, who's an undefeated 10-0. St. Joe's right now 7-3, playing pretty well, and the Flyers are right there. They're in the 5th spot. That's how important this was for them tonight, to try to get into that upper echelon of the conference, because the top 4 teams get a double bye in the Atlantic 10 championship, which is going to be in Pittsburgh in March. That's a goal, to try to get some rest there, obviously, and not have to play for a few days. And then for VCU, as we said, they're trying to increase their NCAA tournament resume. For if they don't win the championship, they can hopefully get an at-large bid, and they're on track to do just that.
So Top 4 in the A-10 is a goal, but it's a goal with purpose because the tournament champion in the last 16 years, 11 times it's been one of those top 4 seeds. So having to only win 3 games as opposed to 4 or 5 is very beneficial.
You know what the seed was in the other 3 of those years, though, John? A 6 seed.
Yeah. And
so
Kane just 2 years ago did it, so it's not impossible. But I'd rather have an 11 out of 16 chance than a 5 out of 16.
Well, I hear you. Well, and prior to last year, because VCU won it last year, the previous 8 seasons, there was a different team as the conference champion. That just shows you how many good teams are in the A-10.
This is not a football league. It's a basketball league. All these schools are all in with NIL, with staffing, with facilities. A ton of good teams in the A-10.
And knocked out of bounds, going to be VCU possession. And yeah, so, you know, you're a fan, right, of your particular school. You're, hey, come on, how come we are? That's how tough it is. I mean, look at this list right there. There's VCU, who kind of started the trend, you know, back in 2015. They're the ones that have had 3 over the last, 10 years. But everybody else has been different on that list right there.
Yeah, and each of those places have committed in many ways to being a national caliber basketball program.
Well, and then we were just talking about it last night at dinner. Because we had some of the Dayton fans, or I should say on the radio crew with us, and members of their staff. That year with COVID, John, I know it's just a sore subject, but I mean, they were so good, 29-2, and we were discussing it last week. You got to say it again. That was just a year you wish you knew what could have happened, and you never got a chance to see what that team
did. Yeah, they were going to get another 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and were not top 2-3 in the net, so it's really sad that team didn't get a chance. I mean, you look at what Obi Toppin's doing in the NBA now, how great he played in the NBA Finals. That was a special team.
Yep, special players, too, in the program. Here tonight, it's VCU 81 and Dayton 53. All right, thanks, Jim and Kevin. We appreciate it. Yeah, UConn in action tonight. Their only loss, John, to Arizona back in November, and Coach Hurley's group at 22-1. They have as good of a chance, obviously, as anyone to win the national title once again.
Well, earlier I talked about Kelvin Sampson doing the best regular season coaching job. Well, obviously, Danny Hurley doing the best NCAA coaching job in terms of the postseason tournament, winning 2 national championships. And you got Hurley versus Patino, drop the mic, enough said. 2 truly generational coaches. That's an overused word, but it's not when you talk about those two legitimate Naismith Hall of Famers.
And a steal. And it's Durkak. Misses it. And a rebound Hurd, and they're going to call a foul. So Hurd's going to go to the line here for 2. There's only 9 games, excuse me, in Division I college basketball tonight. You're watching one of them here. Another one in the A-10, already a final. Davidson knocked off Loyola Chicago 84-64. And Davidson is going to play this Dayton team in their next game. And Davidson's got a chance to go into that 5th spot if they knock off the Flyers in that next matchup. First place in the SEC is on the line. Women's college basketball on Sunday for you, 3 o'clock Eastern on ABC, on the ESPN app. Number 19, Tennessee, and number 3, South Carolina. Lewis trapped, got out of it, and got it to Ward. Tracey, 3-ball, wide open, no good.
Interestingly, that was one of the first times that Dayton had trapped in their pressing. With Montgomery, they do that far more often.
There's Hurd.
Terrific job not fouling by Lewis. Terrific.
And Lewis tried to get the rebound. Now, they're going to say it's Dayton possession. And then I thought there was maybe a foul there at the end, was out first.
So when people talk about defensive discipline, it's exactly what Lewis is doing here. Look, defend with your chest, throw your arms out, and look at the arms out and be completely vertical, completely straight up. Terrific discipline.
Yeah, good observation there. John Leptong knocks it down here with a throwdown dunk. He's got 15 points. And he's also got 11 rebounds today as well. It's his third game this season with 10 or more rebounds. His career high is 13.
Leptong, a bright spot in this game. Obviously very talented at 7'1", but showing productivity and being more mobile after being injured.
Djokovic, no, follows his own shot, gets it out to Tracey, and another three. As he was wide open, Tracey's got 24, tacking on to his new career high, and he's 6 of 8 from three-point range. Bennett continues to work his tail off.
It's amazing how he gets his shot off. He hit a game winner against Miles Rubin, the top shot blocker in the A10 at Loyola, on a drive just like that. That time he goes over to 6'11" Djokovic. That's something you can't teach. 5'11", finishing over 6'11".
Bennett with 10. Tracey, another three. And Durkak off and running again. Fouled by Tracey, and free throws coming. You had mentioned what you thought about this VCU program right now. Obviously, well on their way to winning their 7th in a row. What about Dayton? They started the A10 campaign 5-0. At the end of December, they beat Fordham. They won at Loyola Chicago. George Washington at home, at Duquesne. Loyola Chicago again on a Friday night that you and I did. Well, what's happened since then?
They lost Durkak and Leptong for 5-game stretches. Big losses. Now they've lost Montgomery. And, of course, no excuses from Coach Grant. He's a tough guy, and he's going to expect to win every game, and he's going to say next man up. But me being on the sideline now and being a realist, when you lose talent, it's a factor. So Dayton is one of those teams that if they get healthy, they can make a run in March. You know, we mentioned Duquesne is the 6th seed who won the A10 tournament. This year, I think Dayton, I think Duquesne are two teams that are capable of winning the tournament. You know, you just wonder if St. Louis, as dominant as they've been, will ever have an off night. Human nature says that's possible.
Well, here's what they have coming up. It's Davidson next Sunday afternoon at Mason. Obviously not easy there. Then St. Louis, I mean, nobody wants to play them right now. A pretty darn tough schedule, really. Tough schedule. Yeah, as you look at it.
Yeah, at George Mason, super tough. You know, they're 19-3 on the season. Duquesne is extremely talented. They remind me of their 2024 team that won the A10 tournament. St. Louis, we talked about it. They're elite at the national level.
We'll be there for that Friday night at GW in the nation's capital.
And Davidson is really tough. I think they're a year away from reaching their ceiling because they're so young, but they're deep and talented.
Turnover and a foul on the Flyers. And guys are hitting the deck here. Bennett, man, Bennett again. And it's a right knee this time.
Yeah,
the ankle, effort, now the knee.
Effort these guys play with. Obviously, this game has been determined probably before halftime. But that is not affecting the effort level at all. I mean, yeah, guys just colliding bodies, diving on the floor. I mean, they're playing like the score's tied and a conference championship is on the line. So that speaks to the players. It speaks to the culture that the coaches have instilled, that you just all out all the time, always competitive. Doesn't mean you're always going to play your best. Doesn't mean you're always going to be at full strength. But the effort, you can't question.
We'll have the return game between these two in Dayton, Ohio, on March 6th to close out our Friday night campaign here on ESPN. It's our 8 straight weeks of the Friday nights for you in the Atlantic 10 Conference.
And Mike, to break their losing streak, Coach Grant talked about the pride of playing for Dayton, and it's an enormous honor. It's a historic, tradition-rich program, as Durkak answers with some pride right there. But they are going to remember this loss. Dayton is going to play like crazy when this rematch happens.
Here's Lewis. Tracey. What a night he's had. Now he just goes inside, and Will is getting points with his 26th of the night.
He's similar to Hill in that he plays at such great pace, never in a rush. You know, when you're in a rush, you take bad shots and you take tough shots and you turn the ball over. Not when you play at your own pace like Tracey and Hill.
Timeout. 3:40 remaining in this one. Players going all out here tonight. Let's take a look at the end of this last play, John. I mean, watch this. It's Tracey who saves it, but then Latong, while he's in midair, did knock it out of bounds off of Tracey. Probably should be Dayton possession, but, you know, it's a 25-point game. And I know our friend, our official Joe Lindsay's going to watch this back later. He's going to text me and go, really, Mike? Really?
But here's the thing. Like, we need to watch that in super slow motion. Like, exactly. If they could watch it the way we do in slow motion 2 or 3 times, they would get them all right, too.
And I think they've really, really done a nice job with this game because you said it. It's so hard, right? There are fouls. I mean, this is what's going on here tonight. Durkak has fouled out. Both teams going at it. A lot of credit to our officials tonight. Joe Lindsay with Earl Walton and Rick Crawford.
As soon as I thought about this matchup, the first thing I thought of is how hard this game is going to be to officiate because both teams go to the free throw line so much. And when 2 teams like that match up against each other, that physicality and athleticism is really going to be hard to manage, but they've done a great job of it.
Well, Durkak did a great job tonight, too. I know it's going to be in a losing effort, but he had 15 points, 8 rebounds, John. He was 8 for 11 at the free throw line. He does what he normally does. It's just without the horses, this is the result.
You know, each of these guys, Latong was missed when he was out. Durkak was missed when he was out. Montgomery is missed now. I know you want to think that you can overcome those things, but I think this is a team that when they have everyone, the pieces really, really fit. They are way better defensively, especially in terms of pressure and creating turnovers with Montgomery playing.
We've had 59 free throw attempts in this game. Noel for 3, no good. And rebound by the Flyers. Here they come with Jones. And another foul here on the way to the hole is Frary. You know, and I know you talked about this too with the team we're going to see next week in Loyola Chicago, right? St. Louis is at Loyola Chicago. That's our next Friday night here on ESPN2. They're struggling, obviously, bottom of the league, but they've had so many injuries this season. Their year would be drastically different, you would think.
You know, sometimes you have bad luck. Right now, VCU's healthy, completely healthy. They've had good luck.
Saturday college basketball, Duke and North Carolina, top 15 matchup this year between those two. Tennessee and Kentucky, excited for all these matchups. And then Houston and BYU, that's an outstanding way to close out the night. You definitely want to stay up for that one tomorrow on ESPN. 3-ball, Bennett. Wow. And Bennett has 13. It's his first 3 of the night. And Tillery scores. Jordan Tillery, the freshman from Orlando.
They're very high on Tillery. He's just on a very deep, experienced team.
3-ball and a foul counted for Bryce Hurd as he got hit in the corner and has the chance for the rare 4-point play.
Yeah, the VCU coaches rave about Tillery. Here you see the freshman making the most of his opportunity here late in this game. They think he has a terrific future over here. And then the 3 by Hurd. You have to be able to fly by shooters. I don't mind leaving your feet, but you got to have the body control to, you know, go by the wayside and not through the body and give him a 4-point play.
Yeah, there was Noel that got called for that foul. It is a 4-point play for the Flyers. And a timeout taken here as the lead is 20. sellout crowd here tonight from the Siegel Center in Richmond, Virginia. And how about what VCU's kind of hoping for right here at some of the wins that they've had over USF and Virginia Tech, John?
So your net is important, but also getting quad one wins is critical. A quad one win on a neutral court, and these are both neutral court games, is against a team with a net ranking of 50 or higher. So VCU really needs to root for South Florida and Virginia Tech. If they can crack that 50 mark, those become much more significant wins for VCU's tournament resume.
That's a great point. That's why, you know, when you beat somebody at the time, wherever they are, yeah, that's great, but what are they going to end up with at the end of the season? And that's when it all matters.
Correct.
Yeah. Coming up on 2 minutes left here on this Friday night with a 20-point VCU advantage as Jones goes baseline for the Flyers, and it's out to Bennett. Bennett out there. And here come the Rams. Noel up to Lewis. And a foul's called. Got to thank our outstanding crew here tonight on ESPN. We enjoy working with you guys a lot. It's been great up to this point here. Ben Ward, our producer. Isaac Rice, our director. Millie Moyce, our technical director tonight. Associate director Aldo Canepa with Matt Benson. Associate producer, graphics, Bryant Burney. Tyler Churchill, Tim Clare, Mac Romine helping us out a lot this week. Thanks, everyone. And great audio crew here on site with us. Chad Robertson, we've worked with for a while. Echo Ampa, who's now worked in this business 48 years, sitting right behind us. We love you, Echo. Thanks, buddy. And along with Cody Harden, Grant Blondin as well in audio tonight.
As a coach who transitioned into television work, the teamwork's unbelievable. Yes. I am stunned at the number of people that communicate, cooperate, work hard, and each do their job spectacularly to make the whole product work.
We thank Timothy Arms and video tonight, our replay crew, Tommy Martins with Trevor Wilson. Thank you, guys. Richard Simmons, our statistician, going to be with you again for the second week in a row. Spencer Douglas across the court as well on stats. Here comes Lewis. And on the break, foul. And to the line is going to be Keyshawn Mitchell for VCU. And how about our camera crew here? I always love coming down to Richmond because we have some of the all-time best camera people here and longevity in the business. Big shout out to Steve Haas, 40 years doing this. Sean Connolly, 36 years. Brad Thompson is doing it for 15. And our friend Jim Porter, who we saw last night, 46 years doing this. Our camera crew tonight. You guys are awesome. Thanks again for everything.
And I mean, the views and angles we have been flawless tonight. And you don't take that for granted.
And the two that help out are guys underneath the basket. They're called utility, Mac Williams and Tyrone Weiss, and they do a lot helping out the guys on the crew. So thank you two gentlemen and everyone that's been a part of this here tonight on this Friday night. We'll keep it going, John. We're only halfway through it.
Can't wait for next time. It's always so much fun. What a great atmosphere, terrific teams.
Bennett misses on the three. All right, VCU. And a foul coming up the court on Simon. And it's going to give VCU a chance to get up to the 100-point mark here, which they've hit 3 times this season. 103-74 against Wagner way back in November. 101-58 against Coppin State. Actually 4 times. They beat American 105-83. Ryder 100-79. And now trying to pick up 100 again here tonight. Simon's fouled out. $52 fouls tonight. 28 Dayton, 24 VCU.
And very predictable because, as we've said several times, these are number 12 team in the country in Dayton in most free throws made per game, 13 for VCU. So hard-driving, athletic guys who go to the line a lot. Hard to officiate.
We also want to thank our operations producer tonight, Clay Dabney, setting us all up here tonight in Richmond. Paul Jackson, our runner. And thanks again for all your work here for this Friday night. Ball is knocked out of bounds. Going to VCU with 33 seconds left. John will do it again next week with St. Louis at Loyola Chicago. Going back to your town.
That's right. Hometown Chicago. Grew up there. Big Bears fan. Fenwick High School, Chicago Catholic League, North Central College, Naperville, Illinois. It'll be great.
More importantly, where are we eating?
I believe we're going to go to Maladano's Pizza. We'll confirm that.
Okay. VCU is just going to dribble it out here. We got 5.2 seconds left to go. It's going to be a shot clock violation. 99-73. And it was never in doubt pretty much from midway through the first half. Dayton had only scored 3 field goals in the last 10 minutes of the first half. They trailed big at the break, and they lose it. And VCU has won 7 in a row. So go to 18-6 on the season. And that's the final tonight from Richmond. John, we'll see you next week.